Hello and welcome back to the Film Custodian Show. I am the Film Custodian and I am back in the garage. And it is freezing out here, but as you can see, I've got a little bit in the festive spirit. It is December now, so it is the holiday season. And Hollywood and movies in general have been a complete desert this year. So, but there is one movie that is out that I think is spoilers, possibly worth seeing. Violent Night. Okay, so the story. David Harbour plays Santa Claus, and basically it's, you've kind of already seen this movie, right? So you have the Santa Claus down on his luck. He's very much just, disenchanted with Christmas. He's cynical, he's very negative. The first shot of him is, actually really the whole movie is, he's in a bar and he's drinking. And he's just, lamenting everything, kids today are spoiled and, everything is, electronics now, video games and consuming and consumerism, all the points that most Christmas movies touch on, right, is that, we need to keep the holiday spirit and not get, overwhelmed with all the, scheduling and consumerism and corporations and all this kind of stuff that have destroyed Christmas. Or maybe they will destroy Christmas. We don't know, blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing Charlie Brown talks about, right? Where it's, that Christmas has gotten too commercial. You basically have Santa Claus who's decided that, maybe he shouldn't be Santa Claus anymore, that, perhaps it's time that he hangs up the hat, so to speak, and stops delivering gifts. And then, of course, along the way, he meets a young girl, and, all she wants for Christmas is her parents to get back together. That's her Christmas wish. Super rich family. This is, it's their family compound, and it's the most secure in the entire country. And then a bunch of robbers, a gang of robbers and mercenaries show up, and they're going to rob this family. Santa Claus. Wrong place, wrong time. He shows up to this very house. Like I said earlier, he's just very cynical. He doesn't hate Christmas now, but he's beginning to maybe hate it a little bit. He thinks he should just hang it up and stop being Santa Claus and whatnot. But he gets stuck in this situation. He's stuck in the house with them. And so it really kind of becomes a Die Hard situation or a Home Alone situation. And they even say it. The movie becomes very meta. Where it's like, they're even like, oh, it's like that one movie, Die Hard. Or, oh, this is like, Home Alone. And, we're going to set some traps and different things. So that's that's kind of the overall story, but then you get a little bit deeper, like, the Santa Claus, regaining his whole faith, I guess, in humanity, faith in the holiday. Like I said, he's just very down on everything. So basically you have this super rich family, and you have the spoiled people, the spoiled daughter, who has a spoiled boy, and they really did it perfectly. He's just an influencer the entire time. Hey, catch me, yeah, look at this, yeah, look at that dead guy there. I laughed out loud several times. So this movie does deliver the laughs, but it also delivers the cringe. And I think that some of that may be a parody. There may be, I think, it was hard to tell. Sometimes with this movie, it was hard to tell, are they doing a parody of Christmas tropes, Christmas stereotypes in movies and whatnot, like, oh, what's the Christmas spirit? But then they go and they do the Christmas spirit thing, spoilers. Is Santa Claus going to die at the end? Well, the Christmas spirit will save him, that type of thing. And the mercenaries themselves are all dressed up like, in candy cane stuff and, Christmas sweaters and dressed up like elves. There's one elf that's particularly funny, dressed up sort of like an elf. Because they got into this house as they were pretending to be a catering company. And they all got, goofy names like, Frosty. The main villain is, nickname is Scrooge. We find out his real name later on, but he's called Scrooge because I hate Christmas, and he really does hate Christmas. The main villain hates Christmas. So again, we're doing a parody of like most Christmas movies, but at the same time, we're also doing most Christmas movies. What's good is this is John Wick in a Santa outfit, right? So when the film does that, when the film does the action bits, he's got a hammer. You find out that Santa Claus was actually like a warrior, an ancient warrior. There's a lot of sort of Viking mythology. There's a lot of Norwegian mythology. A little bit of it kind of, woven into the whole thing, which I thought was pretty cool. The Santa sleigh is like a Santa boat. It looks like a miniature like Viking ship. So I thought that was a lot of fun. And that he used to be a warrior, and then somewhere along the lines he became Santa. They don't tell you. They also don't really explain Christmas magic either. David Harbour, Santa Claus, basically just kind of goes, I still don't understand it. It's Christmas magic, whatever, because it doesn't matter. Most of it, and that's, again, all these things that I'm talking about with the story, it's too much, right? Everybody's little stories, everybody's little redemption arcs. There's just too much going on. And really, this film suffers the most because it is too long. There's a really good 90-minute film in there, even a 60-minute film in there, where you just have Santa Claus crushing skulls, kicking everyone's ass. The whole point of the movie was there's one scene where Santa Claus sticks a Christmas star in a guy's eye and then, plugs it into the wall, and then, and shocks him to death. And that's hilarious, right? That's what we want to see. That's what you go there for. And the film does deliver. But then you have all this other stuff that they're trying to make it more of a, they really wanted to do a parody of, Home Alone, and then they wanted to have their references. This is really, it's kind of like a love letter to Christmas and Christmas movies, but also Christmas tropes and stereotypes. And then they kind of go and they actually do these things all at the same time. Tone. I cannot tell you how important tone is. So this film is it's a tonal mess. They weren't completely sure if they were going to do a comedy. They weren't completely sure if they were going to do an action thriller. If they weren't completely sure if they were going to do some kind of like family drama. They do it all, and you can do it all, but the tone of it has its ups and downs, right? So you have some real intense action where you're smashing a guy's brains in, and then the next minute, there's some kind of joke about, well, we can't say ass. Well, how about butt? Well, let's go with anus. Yeah, anus is okay. It's like, what? So, you're doing like it's an action adventure, but it's just it's just very, very dense. There's a lot of things going on. The screenplay, it's too busy. The story is too busy. They're trying to do too many things. Because some stuff is just really, really out there and funny, like some lovey-dovey stuff, and then you got, the kid being cute and funny, like, it was a lot of fun, doing the Home Alone thing, and did you see when that bowling ball crushed that guy? And then you get they're trying to do a very serious action scene, and so you have trouble, when the tone shifts like this, you have trouble, it takes you out of the film. You need to get back into the film, and so it's like, should I take this seriously? Is this a moment that it's supposed to be taken seriously, or am I supposed to be laughing at this, right? Now, a lot of the jokes, like I said, did land. There's a lot of really, really funny jokes. I laughed out loud a couple times. And, it's just fun. It is a lot of fun. And when you just see see Santa Claus just at the end of his rope, like, screw everything sucks. Not unlike the film Fat Man. This film came out in 2020. Mel Gibson plays Santa Claus. And this film took Santa Claus really seriously. It's like Santa Claus is in the real world. He lives up in Alaska. He doesn't even have the traditional outfit. He kind of has like this cool red leather trench coat. And then he has like just like a normal hat, which is also leather. It's cool. But the magic isn't there. There's a little bit of magic when they get into Santa's workshop, like the elves are real, Santa's real, the magic is real, but they don't really show a lot of it on screen because that was more low budget. I think that movie overall, though, is better than this. It's better than Violent Night, just because, I don't know, it just has more heart and soul, I guess, where it doesn't feel artificial. Somewhere along the lines, I don't know if it's Mel Gibson's acting or the script, but in Fat Man, they managed to get across more humanity, more, just feelings, I guess. And you could get with it because you could kind of take it seriously. But even though, again, tonally, it kind of is all over the place because you're not sure if you're supposed to laugh at certain things or whatever. But that film is about, again, a grouchy, cynical, Santa Claus that maybe I'm just going to give up. I'm done. I'm sick of this. And, he's, wielding guns and there's some action and all the stuff that works. Same thing with Violent Night with this film. When they actually do what they set out to do, it works. All the other stuff kind of is tonally shifty and doesn't always land, doesn't always work. But yeah, I think Fat Man is a better film just slightly. This film had a bigger budget, so they're able to show more like of the magic. You know, he kind of, you know, he does the thing where he puts his finger in his nose and goes up the chimney, and that works to great comedic effect later on. I don't want to give away the jokes, but there's a lot of really, you know, there's some brutal kills, let's just say, involved with going up and down the chimney. When there is violence, the violence delivers. It's exactly what you want. This is, you know, what was promised in the trailers, is you get the blood and guts, you get the head crunching and the smashing. Back when Santa Claus was a Viking, when he was a warrior, you know, he had a hammer and it was called Skull Crusher, because of course it was. Why not? David Harbour as Santa Claus is fantastic, as he just wants to get drunk. There's one scene where it's like he's just eating cookies the entire time. At one point he looks over, there's a bunch of booze, and he's just like, oh yeah, that's the stuff. You know, he's just taking the whiskey, drinking the whiskey. And he's really just slacking off, you know, the entire time. And he falls asleep in a chair. It's like a chair that has like a back massager on it. And then that's when he hears gunfire. And he's just like, oh shit, you know, now I need to get out of here. The villain is John Leguizamo. I think I'm saying that correctly. He plays Mr. Scrooge. And yeah, he does a really good job. He was actually in the first John Wick film, I think possibly even the second John Wick film. And so obviously the producers, this is produced by David Leitch, who was a co-creator of John Wick. This film was directed by Tommy Wirkola. Several years ago, he did Dead Snow, a couple other independent films, and then I think most notably he did Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters. Jeremy Renner was in there. I didn't see that movie. It kind of looked like ass to me, but I don't know. I've also heard that it's fun, so maybe I'll check it out one day. But I give Violent Night a 7. Violent Night's biggest faults are that it's too long, it's too stuffed, there's too much stuff going on. There's a 90-minute film in there. You just need to stick to, you know, Santa Claus being John Wick, kicking ass, and being cynical, and then finding Christmas again, refinding his spirit through, you know, through this family, and then you're golden. All that works. It's everything else that it starts to get bogged down in. I think I would put this film up there with Krampus, with Fat Man, you know, with all the sort of dark comedy, darker Christmas stories. You know, I don't know. I can see this film becoming a cult classic where people get together every day. But that's really what it should be. Is like, go out with your friends, watch it in the theater, and then I could see down the road people getting it out at like a Christmas party or ugly Christmas sweater party and watching the movie or just having it on in the background. So, yeah, it is a 7 officially. Violent Night. Go watch it. Thanks for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. Please check out my other videos. I do a whole lot of videos talking about the Rings of Power and why it's crap. I also talk about shows like Andor. Andor is one of the best things that has come out recently with Star Wars. Go watch it already. Go watch it now. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.